Well, here we go. Ham will take the mound, stepping up is Petty, and he's going to watch strike one as we start things off here from Isotope Park. It's a 5A quarterfinal behind the plate for the Eldorado Eagles. Ambrose Romero, Andrew Stubbs over at first. At second, it's Craig Buzzard. Nate Garley at third. And at short, Tanner Roberts, as this is going to be belted sky high and shallow to right field. Austin Treadwell.
Oh, he missed it.
He missed it, and it'll land. And coming around to second wisely, and a great job by running bases, is Kyler Petty. And how big was his base run in there? He didn't just stop and say, oh, this is going to be an easy out, I'm stopping at first. He kept going, Steve, as Austin Treadwell lost it in the sun.
Well, I'll tell you, we talked about that. We saw that happen in that 1A state championship. A lot of balls when hitting the right field have been missed for that same reason, for just a routine fly.
The designated hitter, Alex Larson, will step up. Lawson, the lefty, has Petty aboard over at second. Nobody down here for the Cleveland Storm in the top of the first as Ham will deliver. And that is bunted down. That's going to move the runner over. Craig Buzzard's going to come up, or excuse me, Stubbs going to come out of first and hand off to Craig Buzzard, who covers from second to first to get out one. But Petty sits at third with one down for the Cleveland Storm. Out in left field for the Eldorado Eagles, it's Jonah Mestis, straightaway center Alex Martinez, and then fresh off the air, Austin Treadwell.
Well, Shane Schellenberger manufacturing runs. He wants to get on that scoreboard.
Well, and I don't, looking at the scoreboard, it's not credited as an error, so they're going to count it as a hit. Well, I don't know. It looks like Treadwell was able to get right under that. Here's a fastball from Ham, and it's going to stay low. So Justice Jackson, the first baseman, will watch a strike fly by, and it's 1-1 on the count. The infield is shallow. Big cut and a miss, 1-2 on the count.
Little change up by Ham right there.
Ham will fire straight down the pipe and struck him out on the swing.
Well, Ham's working himself out of this inning so far. And, when I had Shane on my Steve Davis show, he was very, his hitting was very consistent, but, they haven't played consistent. Now, can they get put a four? Can they win? Win today and win two more games? That's the question.
Kyle Anderson will step up. He's the right fielder, a good hitter for the Cleveland Storm in this 4 spot. Now remember, he's got Kyler Petty sitting over at first with 2 down. Ham on the 0-1 delivers. That's going to miss its spot. 1-1 on the count. Oh, you know what? It looked like it might have grazed Kyle Anderson, and it did. So Anderson's going to be aboard over at first. There's runners on the corners with 2 down here, Steve. Stepping up is the pitcher for the Cleveland Storm, Neil Evans, with 2 down and runners on the corners.
And if Cleveland does score, Eldorado has, last week they played from behind. They're the only team that had to go 3 games, playing last week. They won 2 out of 3, and they're the only team in the top 8 that had to go 3 games. But they came back and won the games on Saturday.
Here's the fastball, and Evans going to foul it off. Strike 1. Ham fires off speed, and that's a strike. And it's quickly 0-2 to Evans. Well, and Ham's been delivering so far, and the fact that Petty's over at third, not really his fault. There's a fastball, caught him looking. So a couple strikeouts and Ham looking solid. The Storm strand 2. We'll head to the bottom. Watch the NFHS Network. Bottom of the first here at Isotopes Park. Adam Deal along with Steve Davis. You're watching the NFHS Network. Glad you could join us. Well, the Eldorado Eagles get out of the jam mainly from Ham with a couple strikeouts, Steve.
Well, he pitched himself out of it. Didn't give up any runs on that inning, and it could easily folded, and then he pitched himself out. So that's a good start for Eldorado Eagles.
Look at that in the crowd, Marcus Williams for the Cleveland Storm basketball team off a beautiful season. The Storm eventually losing the quarterfinals to Atrisco Heritage. Everyone's in attendance.
Brian Smith sitting over there watching behind the dugout.
Head coach of the Storm basketball team.
A guy named Randy Adrian sitting over there, and used to be the athletic director of the Cleveland Storm.
Right.
Moved back to Clovis.
Well, for the Storm on the mound, it'll be Neil Evans, 6-1 on the season, the lefty. And stepping up at bat, it's Tanner Roberts, the shortstop for the Eldorado Eagles. Just a bit outside, 1-0 now to Roberts. Behind the plate for the Storm, it's Riley Peterson. Justice Jackson over at first, Vince Aragon at second, Jorge Guzman at third, Kyler Petty the shortstop. That's a strike. 1-1. Brandon Larson sits out in left field. Straightaway center is Royce Cleveland, and in right, it's Kyle Anderson for the Storm. The 1-1 from Evans. Caught him swinging, and it's 1-2 on the count. For the Eagles, on deck is Craig Buzzard, and then the very, very sharp hitting Ambrose Romero. And Roberts skies this one straight up. Obviously, we've seen that could be dangerous. Second baseman Aragon had no problem with this one, though, and one down.
Second baseman number 2, Craig Buzzard.
Craig Buzzard will step up to home plate with one down here for the Eagles. Evans delivers, and Buzzard's going to foul that down right field line. Buzzard straight up. And back it up is shortstop Kyler Petty. Makes the grab, and two quickly down.
It's almost like seeing the same ball hit.
Yep.
Catcher number 9, Ambrose Romero.
Nobody on for the lefty. The catcher, Ambrose Romero, will face Evans. And Romero could have bounced this to left field. Back it up to make the play. Larson and quickly 1, 2, 3 on fly balls. Evans gets out of the inning. To the top of the second we go from Isotopes Park. 5A boys quarterfinals on the NFHS Network. The Eagle bullpen here at Isotopes Stadium. Probably won't get much work yet as Garrett Ham went to work in the first. To the top of the second we are. Adam Deal along with Steve Davis. 0-0. The Eldorado Eagles and the Cleveland Storm after one. Beautiful Isotopes Stadium. Got a perfect 75 degrees, very light wind. Well, you couldn't write it any better for a quarterfinal matchup, Steve.